Hey, church family, thanks for joining us for our last our last daily connection of the week. We have been looking all week at the death that Christ faced and how Jesus' death on the cross pays for our sin debt. All right, and so we're going to wrap up here at Romans chapter 6, looking at verse 11. A short verse, and it says, "So you too consider yourselves dead to sin and alive to God in Christ Jesus." So you too consider yourselves dead to sin and alive to God in Christ Jesus. From the moment that from the moment of conversion, from the moment that we submit our life to Christ, we are identified, right? We are defined by being dead to sin and being alive in Jesus. That is who we are, dead to sin and alive in Jesus. And if we expect to live for all of eternity with Christ, then we must live as though we are dead to sin and alive in Jesus. And that should affect everything that we do, every word that we say, every action that we take. To say we are dead with sin and alive with Christ, those words have power, they have meaning, and we should allow them to define who we are. It matters the things that you say. It matters the actions that you take. It matters what your social media looks like, whether it looks like hate or whether it looks like love, whether it looks like you're living a life of debauchery or a life of surrender to Christ. It matters who you are at work and who your employees think you are, or who your fellow classmates think you are. It matters if you're the same person in your home with your family as you are when you're outside of your home, because your kids see that. The world sees that. All of these things matter. If we are going to say that we are dead to sin and alive in Christ, then every single one of these things matters. And so we cannot ever, we do not need to turn back to that life that was once lost in sin. We don't need to turn back to this life that's dead and try and resurrect something that's completely gone. No, instead, we need to embrace a life that is alive in Christ and submit to all that Christ has called us to do. We must live in ways every day that show we are alive in Jesus. That is the absolute most important thing that we can do day in and day out. So our author gives us a couple of questions for us to look at. The first says, what defines the life of a Christian? What is it that defines the life of a Christian? The second question, how does your life fit this definition? Spend some time here. Does your life fit the definition of someone who is alive in Christ? Are there ways that people can see that? Are there ways that you can see that? I would encourage you, if you, as you evaluate your life, if you don't see ways that you are alive in Christ, man, come talk to us. Let's talk about what that looks. Let's talk about why we don't see that. Let's see, do we have a relationship with Christ, or are we just in a place where we're trying to embrace the old and the dead? I think it's an important question for us to look at. So I hope that you'll take a hard look at it. And as you do so, church family, we want you to know that we love you and we're praying for you.